Grip socks are great, and now they're even better with Pure Grip Socks Pro. Better fit, moisture wicking, amazing comfort, and all the extra grip you need. Choose from 10 different colors for just $16.99 a pair at puregripsocks.com.
Ever since Adidas launched the Ace 16 Plus Pure Control and laceless boots became a thing, people have been asking me whether or not I thought Nike would ever make a laceless pair of football boots, and not counting the FlyEase versions of the Phantom GT, because I think that serves a completely different purpose altogether. I personally just didn't think they ever would, but inside this box, I have Nike's first official laceless pair of football boots. However, they're only made for kids. If you're between the sizes of 1 and 6, Nike now offers the Junior Zoom Mercurial Superfly 9 Pro. It retails for $120, and as you can see, features Superfly characteristics like the upper and the mid-cut collar, but instead of laces, you're going to find 2 elasticated straps crisscrossing across the top of your foot in place of tying up your shoes. With the question being, is this a good thing, especially for kids? Obviously, I can't test out the boots myself, but I can comment on the quality and do have some opinions and concerns regarding not just the laceless design itself, but the viability of a pair of laceless football boots for children that are still growing. Does this even make sense? So if you're a parent and you're planning on picking these up for your child, hopefully some of what I have to say in this video can help to point you in the right direction. So if you're interested in learning more, please stick around. And if you are interested in picking these up, you can get them below their normal retail price by way of some exclusive SR4U coupon codes by checking out the first link down below. Also, I don't normally review kids boots on the channel, but if it is something you'd like to see more of, please don't forget to drop a like on the video and make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on my reviews of all the latest football boots of 2022. So I'm gonna get right to the point. Why would a laceless football boot potentially not be a great idea for kids, especially if they're still growing? Well, while I don't necessarily recommend buying football boots with tons and tons of growing room, that tends to be a trend amongst parents buying football boots for their kids. They want them to last the entire season, perhaps 2 seasons, and in order to do that, you have to buy them with some extra growing room. The issue with that, when it comes to laceless football boots in particular, is you don't have any adjustability. This is the shape, this is the width, this is the amount of tightness that you're going to get. And the only way that you are typically going to fill in a football boot to get anywhere near proper tension from a laceless system like this is if the boots fit perfectly. So if you are buying these with additional growing room, there's going to be extra space, not just at the end of the boot, but in terms of the volume through the midfoot across the top of the foot in particular. That is going to result in a sloppy fit, which is going to result in instability, potentially a higher risk of injury, and certainly slippage in the heel, which in the right conditions will almost surely lead to blisters. If you're buying your child boots with extra growing room, at least if they have laces, they can make them tighter while the boots are bigger, and then as their feet continue to grow, they can loosen the laces and still have a quality, secure, and comfortable fit. You just don't have that with a laceless system. And let's be real here, while the design might look okay, they certainly haven't spent a lot of money on R&D in taking some elastic straps and crisscrossing them across the middle of the foot. This is the type of fastening system that we're used to seeing from Nike on casual wear shoes, so to have it on a performance product like a football boot, I just think it's a little bit lazy. There seems to be a decent amount of tension from this elastic stirrup effectively, but I still think that when it comes to pushing off, obviously given the size and weight of the child wearing the boots, these are in a size 6, so this would technically be the biggest size, but if you have a particularly strong kid, they are definitely going to stretch this material when making a cut, when stepping forward, and that's just going to result in sloppiness, instability, and realistically, all the same issues that kind of plague laceless football boots in every size. But obviously, if the boots are going to be purchased with extra growing room, all of those issues will be amplified significantly. Everything else about the boots, I would say, is fairly mediocre. It technically does not have the same Vaporposit Plus material that you find on the top end model. This is similar to the Men's Pro variation in that it does have the Nike Skin branding, and visually it's pretty well the same. You get that chevron textile base with the Nike Skin top layer. You can even see there is a scaled down speed cage reinforcement underneath that upper. However, the liner is a softer material and a little bit thicker than you'd find on the men's version of the boot, but the material as a whole is still super pliable and very, very thin. So from a protection standpoint, again, something that I would say is relatively important for a children's football boot. If your child gets stepped on, they're going to feel every bit of that impact. There is pretty much no real padding and protection to this upper. Moving to the rear of the boot, being that this is a Superfly, they have made for a mid-cut design, but unlike the men's Pro variation of the Superfly, this does not utilize a Flyknit-like material, but instead something much cheaper that you'll typically find on the less expensive Academy tier models. And visually, I just don't think it's the most premium thing in the world. I do like that they've added the pull tab on the front and back for help with getting them on, and I definitely see the appeal of a laceless boot for a child, given that if they can't tie their shoes particularly well, or if they have an issue with their shoes always coming untied, that's never going to be an issue with a laceless design. However, if the quality of the fit is going to suffer and there's going to be stability issues, I guess none of those benefits truly matter. Internally, the heel liner is actually really premium for a kid's boot, and obviously plastered across the side, you're going to find the Air branding on this colorway. This does not have the 3/4 length zoom unit technology that you have on the men's Elite version. Instead, what you're going to find is a removable insole. There's a look at that. Pretty straightforward, but there's a very small zoom unit directly underneath your heel, which, if it's anything like the men's variation, is not something that's very noticeable when it comes to actually playing in the boots. And then as a base, things are pretty straightforward, and again, a little bit cheaper than the men's Pro variation of the Superfly, in that the sole plate plastic used definitely seems like something you'd find on the Academy tier, but seems to flex really nicely. The boots are not overly stiff in the areas where you don't want additional stiffness, which I think is a good thing for a kid's boot. And then the stud pattern is not a true FG Mercurial stud pattern. It features mostly rounded studs, all round in the heel, mostly round through the forefoot as well. But then you do have that new tri-star shape on the lateral side with your little toe pick stud. So it's definitely going to be more aggressive than I would say the average pair of kids football boots in terms of overall traction, but it's also going to be a little bit more friendly in terms of giving you that freedom to twist and pivot, which is typically going to be a better thing in regards to preventing ankle twisting and stuff like that. So in conclusion, the quality overall seems okay. I don't think the price is bad at all considering what they've charged for some higher end junior boots in the past. But as far as a laceless football boot is concerned for a kid that's still growing, if you plan on buying boots for your child with additional growing room, I just don't think that these would be a good idea. This is a pair of boots that you buy for your child to play in right now and have them fit right now. If you have the opportunity to try them on before buying, that's always the best case scenario. But for most people, I don't think this is going to be the right boot.